When you live in a small town, everyone knows where you've been and what you have done. I've been trying to leave this old town since
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zeta.
And I'm Kelly, and you're listening to
Two Sides and the Truth. Okay, so we're catching up on what's going on, and big news, Rick is back.
Woohoo!
It sounds very exciting, but by the time he got home, I was so tired because I go to bed so early.
You waited up for him?
I did, and I felt like it was disappointing for him because he got home. I was like, okay, well, it's good to see you.
Good to see you finally.
I'm
now.
going to lay down. Yeah. That's not really what happened.
Do you snore?
Not normally, but lately, yes.
Oh, it's like
I've gotten allergies for the first time. When I got sinus infection after sinus infection, when I started getting about 42, 43, and they were like, "It's your allergies." I'm like, "I don't have allergies."
well, now
Like you do now. Apparently, as you get older, you develop more.
Oh.
I thought you outgrew them because I remember people saying, "Oh yeah, I outgrew my allergies." Apparently, you grow them back.
No.
I never had them to begin with, but you do get them as you get older. So now I get allergies, and if they're acting up, I snore.
Wow.
And speaking of that, last night I caught myself snoring all night long because my allergies have been acting up since it started
you
raining.
wake yourself up snoring?
I'll roll over on my back and I'll snore. And I only snore on my back and I only sleep on my back when I'm kind of sick.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works out, but that's what happens. And I'd go, just one little noise. I'm like, ah! I'm like...
Scares you. Oh my gosh, what was that?
Rick's like, stop, because I will scare myself.
Well,
So yeah,
I'm not a snorer. I think that I do at times, depending on like if I have drainage or something like that. But typically, I don't snore. But it's not like Dante would notice, anyways, because he definitely snores.
Oh, he does.
I sleep with earplugs in.
yeah. No, Rick doesn't really snore. No, he's not a big snorer unless he's sick. Same. If we lay on our back and we're sick, that's the only time. But no, if I make any noise, like he buys the cheap water bottle. We go through a lot of water bottles. Zoll in particular goes through a bunch of them. So he buys the cheap ones, the ones that are crunchy.
Yeah.
So
The crackly ones.
Yes. And so in the middle of the night, I have to get up and pee every night at some point, and I'm always going to want some water. Mm-hmm. So I'll take a drink, and it's crackle, crackle, crackle. And then every morning, I'm going to hear about it. He'll be like, could you be any louder? Like he's suddenly Chandler Bing. Could you be any louder when you got a drink of water?
Yeah, I
was like, buy less cheap water. You're the one that wants the crackly water. So, yeah, I do snore on occasion, and I wake up people with water. But we'll sleep through the other craziest things ever. So, go figure.
All right. Well, I was glad that Rick's back in town.
Yeah.
I was pretty sad that I didn't get to make use of him being gone and coming and staying the night.
Well,
Like
he's
back
back out. He's back out of town.
Oh, he's gone again?
Yeah, he came home late Friday night, and it is now Sunday morning, and he is on the road to San Saba to hunt.
Oh.
And I called it. I put a poll on Facebook. No one really participated. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks for that.
Saying I should do a poll when Rick will go hunting. And I put my money on Sunday so he could hunt Sunday night and Monday morning. And that is, in fact, what his plan is.
Oh.
So he was very excited. He's happy to be home. We did have to go out to eat instead of me cooking because we didn't have all the groceries we needed. So we will be having a very large meal when he gets home from hunting.
Oh, nice.
Country food. He wants food that is bad for him.
I do too.
He was like, yeah, I know. He was like, everything's so healthy. But I kind of was laughing at him because he was telling me all about California, and everything he was saying was positive. And he was kind of like, you can't believe what you see on the news, I guess. And he was like,
figure.
Everybody was very kind, and he had a good experience. And I asked him what his favorite part was, and he said Malibu. And I was like, why in particular Malibu? And he said because, when he came out of the mountain, I can't remember if I told the story or not.
Yeah, you did.
But so he came out of the mountain into Malibu. He was like, it was just breathtaking because it was like being in the best of worlds. So he really enjoyed that. And he got my mom a rock there.
Aww.
Yeah, and so he enjoyed it, oddly enough. But driving home, he was so ready to get home that he left the job site, went home, back to their house where they were staying, and packed up their stuff, got on the road, drove and drove and drove and drove. Finally got so tired that he pulled over and he slept for 2.5 hours in the truck. And then got back on the road and drove and drove and drove and slept for an hour. And then got back on the road and drove home. So he was not spending the night somewhere, which I figured he would do that. And then he got home and he wasn't even tired because he was so excited to be home. Like he wanted to talk and he wanted to, it was kind of funny. And the kids were all excited he was home.
Aww.
And then the neighbor across the street was gone. I asked him if he was sad. We had more drama with the neighbor.
Oh my gosh, really?
I'm not kidding. It's exciting. It's like Peyton's place over here in my neighborhood. Yeah. This is kind of a sad part. Okay, look, so they have 2 dogs. And the dogs have been getting out occasionally and getting into my trash. And they've tried to come in my garage. And at first I thought they were strays. And it was when it was really hot this summer. So I got some water for them and I got them some food. And I was trying to figure out if they were strays or what was going on because they looked hungry. And then the neighbor came home and got them to go into the backyard with her. And I was like, oh, that's their dogs. Oh, I didn't even know they had dogs. And I'd never seen them before. So this went on throughout the summer. Occasionally I'd see the dogs get out and then they'd take them in the yard, whatever. Well, ever since the husband has been gone, the dogs have been roaming the streets. And so I told Rick, I was like, I think that she threw the dogs out with the man. The dogs are, I feel bad for them. They're just roaming the neighborhood, And well, then they start ending up on all the little local Waxahachie pages, all the, local smut magazine pages, like that's what you'd call them, where all the gossiping goes on.
Yeah.
And so they ended up on 3 or 4 different pages, like the lost and found one, the talk one, the buzz one, they all got a name. And everyone's got these dogs, and they're like, does anyone know who these dogs belong to? Can someone rescue these dogs? They're clearly strays. Someone must have dumped them. Look how bad they look. Look how hungry they look.
Oh, no.
And I know whose dogs they are. And they're literally, the pictures are in their yard.
They're just outside the frame.
Finally, I comment, and I'm like, just knock on the door. That's their house.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, just knock on the door. They live at that house. That's their dogs. Just knock. And they were like, well, they're not feeding them. I was like, hey, I don't know anybody. I'm just saying that's where those dogs live.
I don't have the whole story.
Just knock on the door.
Just some of the story.
And so then people just keep posting and posting and posting. And then I catch the dogs again in my garage. This is all over one day. So finally I call animal control and I'm like, hey, these dogs that are all over all these Waxahachie pages, those are my neighbor's dogs. Maybe you can intervene here because there's about to be a riot. And they were like, oh, we're already on it. We've gotten numerous phone calls.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, they live at this address. I gave them the address. I told them what was up. Husband's gone. I don't know what's up with the dogs, but they do look hungry. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, okay. Well, then animal control said they went over there and the lady's like, oh, those are my dogs. And my husband is gone. I'm divorcing. And they got out and I work, in town and I didn't know they were out and they're just old. That's why they look. So they let her keep the dogs. Oh, well, that pissed off all these pages. They were not happy.
Oh, no.
Oh, because people went and knocked on her door. Once they realized the dogs lived where the pictures were. Like, they weren't roaming the neighborhood. They were in their yard.
Yeah, they were just chilling.
They just look real rough. They do. They look real rough. So that's the current drama with the neighborhood. So.
Wowza.
Y'all are all caught up now. I don't have anything else going on.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, we do have these little boys that going up and down the street pushing these push mowers and holding like a weed eater, and they're probably like 13-year-old boys. And one day they asked the kids if they could they would pay them to watch their mower and their stuff so they could go to the store and spend their money they had earned.
Aww.
And so my kids were outside and they were like, you don't have to pay us. We'll just watch it for you. And they were like, we'll watch it. Okay. So I come home and they're outside. My kids are outside watching these kids' things. And so, my kids. And I think it's cute. I'm like, that's funny. And so then yesterday, I'm outside. I'm upstairs, on the patio upstairs. Like, I think I'm camouflaged through all the trees, and they see me. Hey, miss, can you watch our mower so we can? I said, yeah, just park it behind that fence. And yeah, okay. And so I said, I better tell Rick who these kids are that are showing up, hiding stuff behind our fence,
Right.
Rick is not someone that's going to go for that,
He's
So
a little territorial.
And Rick had already noticed the kids, noticed them pushing it, and he was impressed by it. So he was like, what are they doing? And I told him, and he was like, oh, okay. Yeah, they can keep it there, da-da-da. But then the kids, I'm waiting for Rick to move his truck, and I'm parked where I'm just watching him from my truck. But he doesn't know I'm even parked there yet. And the kids go by, and I see Rick call them over, and they run over to Rick, and Rick gives them some money, and then they like high five them.
That's so cute.
And then they run out in the street, and one of the kids is like looking at the bill like back and forth. I don't know how big a bill he gave them. Rick's known for being a little surprised, of good things.
Yeah.
And they acted very excited, okay?
That's cool.
So then whenever I got out of the truck, I said, what'd you give them? He goes, $1. I was like, you are so full of shit.
I know he wasn't just looking at $1 that way.
Yeah. So, the kids were pretty excited. So I don't know what he really did, but
that's awesome.
yeah, that just happened. Y'all caught up. Rick's home.
Doing good things, doing the Lord's work.
I made him a damn good breakfast, man. We did. There was gravy involved.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. All caught up.
Ah, nice.
Exciting life here.
Yeah. Well, my most exciting thing is that I had like a therapy session. So, and what we were talking about in my therapy session was kind of like managing thoughts, because I have all of the thoughts all of the time. My brain is never just like off. It's constantly going. It's even a problem. Like, it's hard for me to go to sleep because even if there's nothing going on, like I'm not necessarily stressed about anything, I will completely be thinking about like the next day, like down to like everything that I'm going to do. And I wish that I could shut it off, but it doesn't work that way. And so we were talking about managing thoughts and how the thought process works. And so whenever you're going into any kind of negative thoughts or anything that is doesn't necessarily have to be negative, it could just be overstimulating you. Like, so you're thinking about it too much, and then it's affecting like you in the present and what you're able to get done. And so kind of like being able to categorize like the severity or like the importance of things, and realizing what is really important, what's not important, what things that are serving you and things that are not serving you. Because sometimes the reason that I get overstimulated is because I commit to too many things, or I'm trying to do everything and then nothing gets done because I have too many things that I'm stressing about. So what my therapist was saying is to realize that I don't have to do it all, and I can say no to things, and no is a very powerful, and that's what I've been trying to learn, is the word no. And I don't like to hear the word no. So it's also hard for me to say the word no. I don't like to disappoint people. And I don't like, if someone is like, wants me to do something, I feel honored, because they're like, oh, they trust me to do this, or they feel like I would do this well, so they're asking, me to do it. And so I want to be able to perform and do those things for those people. But when you are doing too many things, it can actually take away from your joy in whatever you're able to actually accomplish. So saying no to people and saying no to things is just as important as the things that you say yes to. So it's okay if you have to say no, or if you have to not do something, and you don't need to necessarily think of it as a negative, because it can actually help you do better in your day-to-day life, and being able to unmuck your brain so that you can.
And it's not just about boundaries. I think sometimes when people say that, you think, oh, you're setting boundaries, but sometimes it's not even boundaries. It might just be like something you might want to do, but it overextends you.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean it's something you don't want to do. It just might not be good for you to do it at that moment.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
It might not be about a boundary.
Yeah, and it's really hard for me to do those, to speak up and to change things, or to not do something. Like, just for instance, I sang in church today, and I was on the schedule to sing at church next week as well. Well, my mom had messaged me and told me that one of my little brothers is getting baptized next week at their church in Greenville. And so she was seeing if I could come. And I'm like, oh, well, I can't, I'm on the schedule to sing. So that's something that, I'm responsible for doing that. And I know that it's very simple. All I needed to do is go to, our worship team leader, let them know the circumstance, and it wasn't really going to be a big deal. But that whole process in my head, thinking that I'm going to, be causing a riff in the way that things are going, or, they're going to have to try find somebody to replace me or change, the songs and everything like that. That was too much for me. I was like, I don't want to do that. But I really want to be there for my brother. That's an important part of his life and his journey.
And it's church. I would think that under baptism is probably important.
It is.
They know, yeah.
But
it's just
today,
the chore of actually making the changes happen and the weird guilt that doesn't belong.
I know, and that was my biggest thing. Is like it's my brain makes me feel a certain way that I don't even want to feel, and like logically, I know I shouldn't. So why am I feeling this way?
Right.
And she was saying like those are the thoughts that you have to filter. You have to realize what is happening, realize that this is not the way it needs to be. This is just my brain creating a problem out of something that's not even a problem. And because that's just what a brain like mine does. It just completely just wants to just go above and beyond sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
And so today I just let her know, hey, I have this coming up. And of course she was completely understanding. She's like, oh my gosh, yeah, you need to be there. You need to be there for your brother. That's very important. Don't worry about it. Everything that I knew that was going to happen when I logically think about it. But of course I had to make the change. I had to force my brain and tell myself, don't think about the worst scenario kind of thing that's going to happen about this, or don't dwell on the fact that you're having to cause them to change things and do all these things, because it's important to you. And
that's basically anxiety. Yeah. That's just some of anxiety.
Oh yeah, very much so. I have a very anxiety-induced brain, of a trauma brain. So a lot of the things that are really small in retrospect can seem so big at the time. And it's just getting over that and, knowing that what you do and what you don't do, those things are important. And so it's okay to speak up and get what you need. And that doesn't make you like, oh, I don't mean to be so extra or anything like that.
Obviously Zaylee struggled with anxiety, and when she'll hyper focus on something and the anxiety about it builds up. And so she'll tell me, okay, I have to talk to you about this. I know I've talked too much about it already, but I have to talk about it. And I think everybody else is sick of hearing about it. So I'll be like, okay, tell me what you got to say. And she'll tell me everything she's already told me 20 times and get it off her chest, and then she can move on and she's good to go. And I always think God has a sense of humor, because I'm so compartmentalized, and I like to just like nothing ever happened, and I'm putting it back there, and I can forget about it. I can turn it off.
Oh yeah.
And my kid cannot at all. And so she's going to make sure I don't either. Like, she is going to make sure we discuss anything that's ever happened many times. And you never know when.
She's really going to drill it in there.
On a Wednesday. A random Wednesday, she's going to want to talk about something that happened on a Sunday night 16 years ago when she was 2 years old. And she's pretty sure she had on a red dress. And I was sitting over here. And her memory is that incredible when it comes to things. And she wants to discuss it. And I'm like, girl, I don't remember what we talked about 5 minutes ago. I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, I believe you. But so God has a sense of humor. That this is the child He gave me, because she's like trying to like make me not be able to do that. I have to work through things, because she's making me work through them with her.
Yeah,
she's like my own personal walking therapist.
Yeah. Well, we all deal with our innermost thoughts and things in different ways. So, and I tend to not talk about it to anybody. I don't voice it, which I know that can help. Obviously, it helps her to some degree. And And I just can't seem to do it. I don't
either.
I don't like to burden people with anything that's going on with me. Like, even though I know that that's a healthy step, it's not one that I want to take. I don't want to talk to anybody about my problems.
What about with your therapist? Are you comfortable?
That's one of the reasons that I do therapy, is because I know that it creates that step that I would avoid otherwise. So while I don't always talk, in depth about things, it still like opens up the table to realizing what I do and making healthy steps and healthy changes and showing me what I can do. Like, if this is too hard, maybe you should try to do X, Y, Z then, and see what step could be easier for you. If you're not willing to talk to anybody about your problems, can you journal about it? Can you, do something else that will help to, alleviate that pressure that's on you for that, for that time, and see if you can still get to a, positive result, even though you can't actually verbally talk to somebody about it.
That's what they have her do, is journal about it.
Yeah.
And she likes that a lot.
Yeah. I like to journal too, but then I always have to burn my journals because I'm like, nobody's ever reading this.
Yeah. My diary from when I was like in 5th grade makes its rounds around the family once every few years when they locate it in a box. It's horrible.
I bet.
It's so
my
embarrassing.
God. See, that's why I burn them.
And like, there's quite a few conversations about Claudia in it, because we were running at this time together. So it's pretty funny. And I got to show her as an adult. I was like, here it is. Here's what I was thinking about you. I think I talked about Jennifer in it. Like, it's pretty funny.
That's cool.
But yeah, burn it. That's the moral of that, is that you probably should burn it. Is there anything else that you did that like helped you figure out a way to be able to communicate better? Like, if you were afraid to talk about it, besides journaling, is there something else that was like a breakthrough?
Well, it's just actually when I started getting tattoos, because because it hurts. I mean, tattoos do have a certain amount of pain, and so my brain, like, it releases stress through pain. So and a lot of people do that in negative ways. Like, that's the reason that some people become cutters or stuff like that, because it is pain and it's releasing that built up, pressure and, anxiety and everything. So tattoos is a form of body modification that is a more positive and productive way of releasing that stress and pain, other than doing something that would be more detrimental to somebody's health. So yeah,
that's a good.
That's one of the reasons that when I first started doing first started in therapy, I started getting more heavily tattooed, because I realized that was a connection of me, that it helped me because I liked the way it looked on me aesthetically. So it helped me to feel better about myself and my skin. I liked the way I looked because I was tattooed, and I felt more covered up. And so it was like comforting to me. And then also the pain of it was very helpful, because it makes me focus. It makes me center myself because of the pain, and you're having to like deal with it and find a way to, like, around it and not really like let it overcome you. And so it helps me to kind of like meditate during that time too. And usually I can't get that type of just like centeredness without some kind of like outward pain that I'm having to compartmentalize and like get through.
I guess somewhat related to this, but somewhat, like when we had Terry on the episode with Terry, where I said, whenever I feel like I'm going to cry, I pinch myself.
Yeah.
Because it turns it off. Kind of the same idea.
And sometimes people who will wear a rubber band or something around their wrist, and whenever they say that whenever they want to smoke or whenever they want have a bad thought or something like that, they will pop themselves with the rubber band, because it's that sharp little kind of like get your attention, and it can help you redirect your thoughts.
And we're not therapists, so don't take anything as advice.
No.
This is not advice.
It's not advice. I mean, this
is just conversations. This is just like cabin talk.
Yeah. But if you were to go to therapy and talk to a therapist, sometimes these are the kind of things that they do bring up, because there are things that people will do, and they do seem to find some kind of results. But everybody's different, and everybody's pain is different, and everybody's brain is different. So that's why you can try X, Y, Z, and you might get a completely different experience and take away something completely different than somebody else would. And so if that didn't work, they would be, okay, well, let's try something else and see if this works. And so this is just what works for me. So it won't work for everybody, but it is something that you could try I mean, it's not going to hurt you. I mean, tattoos do hurt. So,
I mean, yeah, talk to a therapist. Talk to a therapist, basically. You end up with crazy things.
Well, I mean, if you're open to getting tattoos, if you have, and I've talked to people who have tattoos
Right.
that kind of view it in a similar sense, that especially people that are heavily tattooed, they enjoy it.
I've heard that
There are
before.
a lot of people who really enjoy that pain. That's why
Right.
they get piercings and get tattoos, is because that pain feels good.
Right.
And to me, the worst thing I could imagine is getting a massage. Most people love massages. They
Right.
love the release. They love that feeling. That sounds like the worst torture you could ever do to me. Like, there's no way, no how, it's never going to happen. So there's just completely two different ends of
Yeah.
the spectrum there.
I love them so much.
Like, do not touch me. I will stab you.
When I get a pedicure, I'm like, all I care about are my heels and the massage. I could care less about any other part of this. That's it. And I had to go with a different lady one week, and I realized how much I missed the other lady. I was like, she was trained for the heels and the massage.
Once you get that one good one, you don't want anybody else, huh?
Nothing else, nothing else.
Well, that's good.
Well, that's it. My catch-up was so different than yours.
It's okay, but that's the two sides right there.
That was a perfect example. Mine was all like, lighthearted. She was like, and let me tell you about what's wrong with you completely.
A little Kelly therapy session there.
Yeah, there you go. No, that was perfect. That's exactly what we're here for.
Yep.
Okay, so today's big topic I've been wanting to talk about for a minute. It's a combination of things that made me decide to do this. One is I saw a TikTok recently, and I'll get into that in a second. But the TikTok only reminded me of me trying to do this with my mom, and I didn't make it happen fast enough. And what it was is my mom passed away shortly after Christmas and New Year, like a week after New Year, 10 years ago. And I was looking for a Christmas gift for her. I was trying to find her things that she could do when she was in the hospital. So there was a book there, and the book was it's meant for either your mom to fill out or for you to fill out, like ask your mom questions and you fill it out.
Yeah.
I wanted my mom to fill it out if she could, because I wanted her handwriting. Unfortunately, she passed away before she could ever do the book.
Aww.
And but the book was just about your mom. First date. How old was she when did her parents let her start dating? How old was she when she got to start wearing makeup?
Yeah.
Where did she meet your dad?
Yeah.
What was their first date?
First drunken experience.
Yeah, like it was. I mean, it was questions like that. And, favorite childhood memory, best friend, elementary friend, favorite color, favorite musician as a child, favorite musician as an adult, favorite song, like things like that.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was really cool, and I gave it to her, and unfortunately she wasn't able to do it. So I started filling it out for my kids.
That's good.
I've never finished it, and it's been 10 years.
Oh, my
I still
gosh,
have
Zeta.
it. I have a good quarter of it. It's a pretty big, it's got a lot of questions, so it is. And I have horrible handwriting, and it has slowed me down, and I've decided that is not a good reason, because that's my handwriting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully they can figure it out. And so I put that on my list of things that I have to do, is I have to finish the book.
Oh, yeah.
But the TikTok that I saw was, you see somebody basically saying, sit your mom down and ask her these questions.
Yeah,
and it could be your dad too.
Yeah.
And their questions were similar questions, but they took it a step further. And they were asking, what is the thing that I did or said that broke your heart? When have I let you down? What was the thing you're most proud I ever did? What was the thing you were least proud I ever did? What were you most proud of yourself for? And I like the deeper questions that they took it to. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I could still do it with my dad. Yeah. I just think with your mom, you typically will get more honest answers, guys are kind of like,
Some guys are.
Some guys are. My dad, I would have a hard time getting him to remember. I showed him my mom's wedding dress, and he had no recollection of it. And it was navy blue and red and yellow flowers. Like, it's not like it was a white dress.
Yeah.
How do you not remember that? Like, he doesn't. He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember a lot of stuff like that. But my mom would have remembered those things. Mm-hmm. And so, in my personal position, my mom would have been the better person to ask, or my stepmom, who has also passed away. But I think that I'm the right person for my kids to ask as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fill out the book,
And then I want them to sit down and do the questions. And I kind of just wanted to challenge other people to do the same things with their parents. I just think it's such a good idea.
It is a really good idea.
And it's not just about them learning about their parent, but it's also bonding.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you could be 50 years old asking your 70-year-old mom, how did I disappoint you? And you kind of want to know, like, because you've probably fixed it by now.
Yeah. Or maybe that's even something that you even forgot about doing or didn't even realize it was a big deal at the time.
Didn't even know, yeah. And now you can apologize because now as an adult and as a parent yourself, you probably get how that was.
You very much more understand the ins and outs of how it affected you at the time and could affect your life, that sort of thing. You don't really have that in-depth of thought.
And you might have literally never have no memory of this. It could be something very tiny, kind of like when you have a high school bully and they bully a bunch of people, and then somebody that maybe it affected more than others is like, remember in 9th grade when you told me, and they'll be like, I don't even remember you. No, I don't remember saying that. I
remember doing that. And it affected your life so much.
For like 20 years, you're beating yourself up over it. You know, like the story I tell about Rick was like the first time I saw him and he was in a fight in a bar and somebody broke a pool stick over his back and he had no clue who this guy was. So once he knocked the guy to the ground, he put his hand out and said, who are you? And the guy was like, well, in high school, you bullied me. And he was like, dude, I dropped out in my sophomore year. I don't remember high school. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sorry that I upset you. But I was a teenager. I was a dick, man. Meant nothing to Rick all these years. And this got really affected.
Yeah.
To the point he broke a pool stick over Rick's back 15 years later. And then
that's a grudge right there.
I know. And then Rick bought him a beer, and by the end of the night, they were laughing together.
Well, that's good.
So that's why these conversations are important.
Yeah. Don't break a pool stick over your mom's back, for sure.
Well, don't. That would be bad. That would be bad. Don't do that.
I don't know why I took it there, but.
So what would you ask your mom? What is something that you would like to know? What would you ask your mom?
Oh, man. Let's see. I don't really think I need to ask like what did I disappoint you the most, because I think I already know that. It was this one guy that I dated, which I even talked about it already before. It was my very first boyfriend that I dated, and he cheated on me, and I stayed with him, and she was so against it, and she really tried to help me through that time and explain to me why I was worth so much more than that. Yeah. And I just thought that she didn't want me to be with the first guy I loved, and she was trying to ruin my life. And
right.
I totally just didn't.
I did the same thing with my mom.
A stupid teenager in love brain, and I pushed her away. I pushed her and my dad away, and I ended up leaving the home because I was 17, so I could leave. And it really caused a big rift in our relationship because I was just being stubborn. And
that is probably what my mom would have answered. I know my mom would have said, your marriage. I know it. Ironically, she's the one that told me I should have stayed married because I made my bed. I should lie in it. But I did. That was so. Yeah, that would be my catalyst. That would be my thing, I think, as well. But you never know, because sometimes, like I talk to my kids, like I had a conversation with Zoe earlier where, she's kind of going through some things right now. And, sometimes you got to ask for help, but I'm not even talking financial. I mean, you need to talk to someone or you need help with just getting something done and you don't have time or whatever the case is. And, I told her to call her aunt because her aunt could help her with what she needed help with. And I was like, you just need to call your aunt and she's going to help you. And I'm sure she'll help you. And she was like, I don't want to ask her for help. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to ask her for help. And this is not money, And I was like, this is what family does.
Yeah. That's why you have a family.
Yeah, this is what family does. And she's embarrassed to ask for help. And
I can understand that.
I can too. But I think that, and again, she thinks she's disappointing people.
Yeah.
And she's not, there's nothing disappointing.
Whenever the way your family sees it, whenever you ask them for help, they never take it as a disappointment. It's exactly the opposite.
It's
They're like, this person trusts me. Yeah. They are mature enough to want to grow, and they understand that this is what you're supposed to do when you're stuck or you need help. You're supposed to reach out and ask for help from the people around you that you love and you trust. And that it helps deepen your relationship.
As long as you're not like burning bridges and you're asking for help and then you're shitting on people, which, there are people that do take advantage.
Some people do that, yes.
There are definitely people that take advantage. But that was kind of, that's what I keep telling her, and I've told my other children, when you need help, it is okay to ask for help, and it's okay to have those conversations. But again, going back to the disappointment aspect of it, a lot of times people associate that anytime you need help, it's disappointment. And, you know, she's 26, so she worries that she's not where she wants to be at 26. And she, you know, and she compares herself a lot to her cousins. And that's just silly.
Yeah, that's your first mistake is when you start comparing yourself.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not. You're never supposed to do that.
And I tell her all the time, do I compare you to your cousins? I don't. No. I always tell you, just be you. Like, that's okay.
And who needs to have their life figured out when they're 26?
Not me. I didn't.
I certainly did not.
I was popping out kids and didn't have it confused. At least she's not popping out kids and doesn't have it figured out. Like, I mean, it could be worse.
It could be. Could be a lot worse.
But I just really like that whole idea. I just really connected with the idea of having that conversation with your kids. Yeah. But before it's too late, like it was for me. Like, I knew when I gave her the book, there was a good chance it was never going to be filled out. I knew she might not be capable of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't think of it before that because I just got the book for Christmas. So she only had it 3 weeks before she passed away. So a little too late on my end. And so when I saw the TikTok, I was like, oh, I got to fill out that book. I hadn't looked at it in a few years. I know exactly where it is, though, because I've always had plans to do this.
That's good.
So I'm going to get it done.
I would like to ask my mom more about memories that she has of us, like just fun memories. What are some things that, you know, you really enjoyed doing with me when I was younger?
Yeah.
What is something that, you know, you enjoyed teaching me?
Or what are your memories of me? Like, what was funny to you that I used to do and say? Like, with each one of my kids, it's something different. And so I would have a different answer for every kid. Mm-hmm. So like Zoe, she called all convertible cars with no lids on them. She always wanted one. Every time she'd see one, look, there's a car with no lid on it. There's a car, every convertible. And she didn't call cows cows. She called them moo cows. Every time she saw one, look, it's a moo cow. It's a moo cow. She assumed they're called moo cows. And those are things you want to tell your kids because they won't remember those little facts.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of, you know, I'm at the age now where we're losing parents, and now's the time to do it. If you haven't already lost your parent, the thing about being this age is that a lot of my friends are currently losing parents.
Yeah.
I mean, this last little girls thing that we were supposed to have, 3 girls dropped out because somebody was dying in their family, significant, an in-law, you know. Yeah. Somebody, they were losing a parent, an in-law, or somebody. And, it's horrible. And so it's really, we are at that age where we need to start writing this shit down.
Yeah.
And I was not much older than you when I lost my mom. So I just didn't react fast enough. And so I want to encourage everybody to go out there and ask the questions and find out the answers. And ask about their childhood too, not just about your childhood. Because someday you may or may not have children that are going to have questions about their grandma. Yeah. That they didn't know at all, or they only knew as grandma. When grandma might have a lot more to her. Yeah. You know, and I tell my kids stories about my mom all the time, as you can imagine, because I never shut up. and I tell them good and bad stories. And my mom would tell me stories about her childhood. So I actually do know a lot about my mom. Like, I can tell you who her favorite musicians were. I can tell you her favorite color. I can tell you, you know, so much about her. I can tell you about the worst moments in her life, many of them. She was like an open book with me on many, many things. So luckily, I do know a lot of things. But I don't know who her first date with my dad was. He doesn't remember. I don't know. I do know how they met. I do know that much. I don't know when their wedding date was. I mean, I guess I could find out. I have no clue. Yeah. You know, and I didn't even know they were married in California until maybe 8 years ago. Right. I thought they got married in Texas this whole time. We're from Texas. How the hell did you end up in California getting married? But they did, you know.
I remember finding, so whenever my grandpa passed away, he gifted me a box of pictures. I got all these old pictures. And no, I don't know that nobody else wanted it, or maybe I was just the first person who was like, this is mine. But it was like, there's pictures of like really, really old pictures. Nobody even knew who was in the pictures anymore. You know what I mean? But there were some more recent ones. And there was one from my parents' wedding. And, so my sister was obviously in the picture because she has a different dad. She was from my mom's first marriage. And then my older brother was in the picture. He's 1 year, 1 week, and 1 day older than I am. And so I was like, I don't know, Casey was at y'all's wedding? And I was like, wait, because you could tell he was like, he wasn't like quite a year, but he was like, he wasn't like a little
like
baby.
they were due with
so
you
I was like, were you pregnant with me in this picture? And she was like, well.
So you were at the wedding too.
I was like, man, I didn't know I was at the wedding too. I was cooking.
My mom was like 8 months pregnant when she got married to my dad. And he had asked her to marry him before, and she wouldn't. And then at 8 months, she was like, wait, I can't have a bastard child. We got to get married. My mom. And why she didn't marry him to begin with? Because she had been married 3 times already, even though she was only 19 when
like
she married
it was
my dad.
off the table.
Yeah, random, right? I was like, and then she was really funny because when you would ask her, she would tell me openly, bluntly, my whole life, I married your dad and had kids with your dad because I wanted pretty kids. And I knew your dad would make pretty kids. I knew your dad and I would make the prettiest kids. And that's why I had kids with your dad.
Right.
And that's why I married your dad. I was like, what? That is the craziest shit I've ever heard. She was like, no, it's true.
Your standards got to be somewhere.
She wasn't playing. She was really into the breeding aspect.
Yeah.
And so whenever I was with Scott and I told her we were engaged, she was like, you can't have kids with him. It's going to fuck up our whole, you know. She always said that, which is mean as hell. But she didn't hold back. Oh. And she was real big into the breeding of who you had children with. Well. So weird. Bless her heart.
That's so
But
funny.
was she right? Yes, she was.
Well, sometimes you just gotta listen to your mom sometimes.
You gotta listen to them. So that's why you need to ask them questions so you know what to listen to. And the questions I would add to it that I think that I wish I had asked her, and menopause. I hadn't come across menopause. I'd like to know what my mom experienced. I would like to talk to her about it.
To see how y'all differ.
Yeah. I would like to talk to her about being 50s. Like, tell me about being in your 50s. How do you feel? What's your mentality of this?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of questions as you get older that until you get older, you don't know you need to know. I'm sure there's shit I don't know I need to know. So I feel like as a parent, as a mom, I should sit my kids down and be like, let me tell you about my menopause. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about that in my life, because they don't know to ask these questions.
Right.
So as a parent, So as a parent, we need to get ahead of that, and we need to be, saying, "Hey, I want to talk about this. I want to know what's up with this." So that was kind of my little takeaway on today's topic. Do you got any feedback on that yourself?
I mean, not so much as what I'm going to leave for my kids because they're non-existent. So, but I did think, this reminds me, we had a birthday party not too long ago. And it was one of my little cousin's birthday party. He was turning 3. And there we have a couple of new babies in the family. So he's pretty young. I have another cousin who just got married a few years ago, and they have a new baby. She's not even 1 yet. And then I have another cousin who we all just found out has a baby on the way. Okay. And so I was like, oh my gosh, baby fever. And my grandma was at the birthday party, which I was really happy that she was there. I haven't seen her in a really long time. But it made me really miss my granddad. My granddad was my absolutely favorite person in the world. And when he passed away, that was the worst time of my life. But before he passed away, he got to meet my little niece, but that was like the last baby of the family he got to meet. And I was just thinking to myself, man, all these new babies, and they're never going to be able to meet granddad.
They're not going to know these things.
They're not going to know granddad. Like that just hurts my heart so bad. They're not going to know about this amazing man. Right, and I was like, I cannot wait to tell them all about him. Yeah. That's one thing.
Well, that is me now with my younger cousins, because I'm the second oldest of the cousins on my dad's side. And there's not a lot of us. I mean, it's me and my 3 siblings on my dad's side. And then I have 4 cousins on my dad's side. And that's it. His family's much smaller than my mom's side. And those 4 cousins are often, my dad just has 1 brother. So 4 of his, he had 4 and his brother had 4. And so Zola and I are the only 2 that remember my granddaddy. And I have a cousin, Jake, that did get to meet him because he was a baby. And he did know him. And Cedric, Zach and Cedric, I think they knew him, but they don't remember him.
Yeah, they were too young.
Yeah. And, but I have very, very strong memories of him and very clear memories of him. And my dad used to, my parents been divorced my whole life, so they were separated before I was born. Mm-hmm. So I've had a visitation schedule my whole life with my dad. It's never been I live with my dad.
So on his visitation, he worked out in the oil field sometimes. And when he was doing that, he would, on his visitation, ship Zola and I to his parents. Well, his mom was passed by then, but to his dad's house. So Zola and I spent some of our times that we should have been with our dad, with our granddaddy. And my memories are so wonderful. I just was very, very close to him. And so now my cousins who are in their 40s, I tell them about, their granddaddy and these good memories of their granddaddy. And I'll sit my dad down, who doesn't always like to talk about the past. And I'll be like, remember granddaddy used to do the gumdrop tree at Christmas and at Easter? And I tell him about the gumdrop tree. Dad's like, oh yeah. And then my cousins are like, oh my God, I remember that.
You like sparked that core memory.
Just talking about it and bringing them up, And the one time my granddaddy yelled at me, the one time ever, he got on to me and he spanked me. And it was a minor spanking, but I disobeyed him.
Aww.
And he spanked me, and I was crushed, and I just was devastated that he spanked me. I just couldn't believe it because he was my favorite person ever. And so then when my dad came to pick me up, and he told my dad that he spanked me, he told him what happened, and he spanked me, and my dad was like, after we were leaving, my dad's like, Zeta, your granddaddy had to spank you? Like, it can't, because I was a really good kid. And I was like, yes, and I told him what happened. I rode my bike where I wasn't supposed to be, and I got a flat tire. And he had told me I'd get a flat tire if I went there, and I did it anyways.
Oh, my goodness.
And
incorrigible.
I know. And so I said, yes, and he spanked me, and I immediately started crying, and My dad's like, I'm not getting on to you. You are taking this way harder. Never mind. Punishment enough.
Sorry, apparently.
But my cousins were like, he spanked you? Because he was so sweet. You just can't even. I was like, yes.
I don't think that I ever got a spanking from my granddad.
But that's the only spanking I ever got from my granddad. And my dad only spanked me once in my life. My mom, though, she's throwing out the punishment. She had no problem.
My mom was usually the spanker in the family, but especially my dad would spank my brothers, but my mom would spank me or my sisters.
Oh, okay, there you go.
But then it got to the point when I think my last spanking, I was like around the age of like 13 or 14, and it was like I was being obnoxious. Like I wouldn't have gotten a spanking, but I was acting 13, like I was too old to get a spanking. So my mom's like, "Oh, okay, I'll show you." And so she took me in the bedroom and she started giving me spankings, and I started laughing at her because it didn't hurt. Like it wasn't like it did, but at that point I didn't care. Like I have a very, very high pain tolerance, so I was like, I was trying not to laugh, but I was. She's like, "Oh, okay, I'll just wait till your dad gets home. I'll let him do this." And I was like, "No, it hurts. It hurts. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
My bad."
I did not want to get spanked by dad.
My brother, he went in there to get spanked. The last time I remember my mom spanking him, and she used a belt. My mom didn't play. You were going to be in pain.
Yeah, we used belts in our family.
So my mom takes him in the room with this. He's probably 14 also. He might have been younger than that shit. He might have been 12. And she takes him in there to spank him, and I got my ear up to the door because I'm nosy. And she's spanking. He is laughing his ass off, which is making her laugh.
Oh, my gosh.
And she was like, stop laughing. Damn it, stop laughing. And he was like, I'm trying. You're definitely going to have to swing harder, though. It doesn't hurt, Mom. That was his last spanking.
Yeah, now we got to start taking things away.
Yeah, no, at that point, she was just slapping us. Yeah. You were getting a random backhand.
Well, we got freaking chanclas thrown across the room at us. Like, my mom's aim was dead on, too. She hit you right between the eyes. It was ridiculous.
Superhuman strength.
I know.
That is funny. We almost went off course, but look, I'm pulling it back in.
But it's once we start going down memory lane, that's what happens. We'll start remembering
and that's exactly
more.
why people need to sit down with their parents.
We need to jog our memories with our parents for sure.
And your kids, like even sit down and let them write. What are your while they're still young?
Yeah.
Like while they're like 20 and they remember their childhood. Because let's be honest, I remember my childhood, but I forget a lot more than I remember.
Yeah.
And so let's sit down and let's talk about your childhood too. What's your favorite memory? I can tell you my worst parenting moment. There's been a few, but with Zoe. Parents screw up too. We're learning. There's no handbook.
Of course.
So Zoe really never got spanked. She was just such an easy kid. And we had gone to HEB in where we lived out in Houston. We'd run to HEB for groceries. And she had this little ring she'd gotten in the gumball machine or something like that. And she loved this little ring. And as she flushed the toilet, she dropped the ring in the toilet. And it was an automatic flush toilet. So it was gone.
Bye-bye.
And she came out crying and was inconsolable. And I had another baby. I had Zane, and he was having an issue. And Zoe was only 5. And so Zoe was like 3. I mean, Zane was like 3. And and I'm grocery shopping, and I'm sure I was broke, and I'm just overwhelmed. And I was so mad at her for throwing a fit over this ring that I spanked her for not shutting up. I have never forgotten it. I can remember what she was wearing, what I was wearing, walking out of that HEB, we were in the bathroom, upset with myself, like immediately recognized I could have handled it better, apologizing to her like I'm a dick. Like I knew instantly. Zoe, I bet you anything has zero memory of this situation. I mean, I still think of it. And she's 26. So 21 years later, I remember that moment and remember what a shitty parent I feel like. I guarantee you if I asked her if she has any memory of this, she will have zero. But
I love that ring.
I know. But I guarantee you she has another memory probably that I have no memory of where I really screwed up. And, you know, I think that my mom had something that she was mad about me, and I don't even remember what it was, but there was something she was mad about at me for a year or two. And then she finally let out whatever it was, and I was like, I was just mad, Mom. Like, I didn't mean that. I don't know. My bad.
Sorry.
Yeah. And she had done things like that to me.
Yeah.
You know, like when she left me in a desert. But, you know, whatever. She didn't remember that, by the way. It's weird how you don't remember leaving your daughter in a desert, but okay.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing
that might be selective memory.
Think would stick out there, you know. Maybe not.
Anyways, I just want to encourage everybody to do that. And I'm going to post, I'll post that video sometime when this goes up eventually. I'll try to remember to post that video so people can see it, that TikTok, and see some of the questions. And, you know, maybe you don't need a book.
That's awesome.
You can just sit down and make a video
kind of
even.
Do a little homework assignment to ask some questions, and then we can share it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Since I don't have a mom anymore, then maybe I'll just sit down with my kids and do that. So you do mom and dad, and I'll do kids.
Sounds good to me.
I like it. All right. Okay, everybody. It's officially Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
We're here to discuss the Great Thanksgiving. Where is it on your holiday list, Kelly? Favorites?
It's up there.
Like, give me your top 3.
My top. Okay.
In right order.
Okay. So I have to say that Christmas is my favorite. Just because it's when I'm with my family. Like, we always do a big family something, but on Christmas Day, I'm always with my mom and my dad and all of my many brothers. And everybody comes to my mom and dad's house of my immediate family. That doesn't always happen on other holidays because both of my older brother and sister are married, so they kind of go back and forth between being at their significant others' stuff, which is good. But we always get together on Christmas. And so that's a really big one for me because it kind of takes me back to us just growing up together and everything.
Yeah.
So Christmas would be my top favorite. After that would be Halloween, just because Halloween competes with that just because I have so much fun on Halloween. But
you do embrace Halloween.
It can't trump my family though. So Halloween is after that. And then it's not a holiday, but my birthday's
Okay, there you go. I like how you threw your birthday in there.
I consider it a holiday, okay?
I mean, I get it. All right. Let's see.
What about you?
I would think my first would be probably Thanksgiving. It's like Christmas without the stress and the money.
Yeah, I get that.
So you get all the wonderful food and all the like merriment and family time together, but you don't have to pay for $2,000 worth of gifts.
Well, I don't ever have to do that because I don't have kids.
I know. God bless you. I like that. The second one I would have to say is Christmas. And they're very close with each other. And then I'd say July 4th. I really like July 4th. But I'm a summer girl.
Oh, yeah. That's a really great summer holiday.
It is, yeah.
And I'm usually in the water somewhere.
But I really do like Thanksgiving because typically in my past life, it was a time where we got together as a family and I saw people I didn't always see. And
your past life. Sounds like you were reincarnated.
Well, I was. I've lived multiple lives in my lifetime.
Same.
But I have. Like, my dynamics as a family has changed so much throughout the years.
Oh, yeah.
And so now it sounds kind of pathetic sometimes. Like, when people ask me what my plans are for Thanksgiving, I'm always like, I know this comes across pathetic. Like, I don't tell them that, but I'm thinking it. Because it's not what it used to be for me. I mean, since I've been divorced, and I've said this before on the podcast, that I spend the holidays I don't have my kids, I spend with Mary, my best friend. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we show up at her mom's house. Sometimes we show up at my dad's house. Sometimes we go to the casino.
Sometimes we go to concerts. Like we have found fun things to do for Christmas or Thanksgiving. Every year I didn't have my kids.
Yeah.
But now we're old enough that the kids are aging out. And it's new rules and it's new traditions. So we only have one kid that's court ordered to leave my house for holidays.
So no, you can't be here. Get out of here.
Yeah. And Zaylee kind of fought it this year. She was like, oh, wait, I don't have to go to Dad's for Thanksgiving. And I was like, yes, you do.
I don't know what you're thinking.
But I did tell her, I was like, I want you to go with your dad as long as your brother's going. Because, you're part of his holiday too.
Yeah.
And, just feel like, he can't be going without a single sibling when you got this many siblings.
You need the package deal there.
Yeah, you got to take at least one with you. And the other two are always with me on the holidays. So, we're going to touch more on this in a minute, but new traditions are not always a bad thing.
Oh, no, not at all.
No, I don't think so. But as far as favorite holiday. Now, what about your favorite holiday food?
Okay, so I am a very much big lover of the traditional Thanksgiving dinner. I really like the
When people tell you that they don't want too much of that, is it weird to you?
It's not necessarily weird because I can understand getting to the point where like, oh, I'm over it. But I'm not the one that eats it for a week after Thanksgiving either.
Well, that's true. You get to leave.
I eat it on Thanksgiving or on Christmas because we switch it up. But I very much look forward to and enjoy it. Yeah. I love the ham. I love the turkey. I love all the sides. One of the things that I love making every year is just sausage balls, which is the Bisquick and cheese and sausage. Yeah. One of my favorite things. Oh my gosh, I love those. So yeah.
Is that what you make?
Yeah, that's the thing that I make to bring.
That's your go-to?
Yeah, that's my.
Rick's family has like a group text and they're all talking about what they're bringing for, this is his dad's side, the Hispanic side. And they're the cousins and them. What are you bringing? What are you bringing? Everybody's bringing stuff for Grandma's house. Rick never says anything because if he brings something, it'll be a surprise.
Y'all are gonna get what you get.
Yeah, and so one of his cousins jokingly was like, "Well, it looks like Rick and Zeta are in charge of cleanup since nothing was volunteered." And so he came home and he told me, and he was kind of joking, and he was like, "Yeah, it looks like we're in charge." I said, "It looks like you're in charge of cleanup." I don't know how I got involved in that. I am not family.
I'm not even going to be there.
I'm not even on that group text. They don't even know my number. So I won't be there.
Isn't that a wonderful thing?
You can't just drop by. I guess I could stop by. Maybe. I don't know. What time is it?
That's my favorite thing to do is don't tell anybody that you're showing up and then show up. So then it's a surprise. Like, oh, they're here. And then I get my food and I eat and then I leave.
And they're just so happy you're there.
Then I don't have anything to do with this.
That's kind of how Rick's brother Brad rolls. It's like when he shows up, and like there might be one last year, or was it Christmas? Whatever time, one of those, I think it was Christmas Day. He showed up with 2 girls. Then we were like, there's 2 of them.
You couldn't choose which one you were taking to family
I didn't know
Thanksgiving.
who I was supposed to talk to. Maybe that was the year before.
Oh, my God.
Might have been the year before. But yeah, I didn't know who I was supposed to be friendly with.
That is so funny.
And I was like, I'm so confused. They were going to the game afterwards. So that was his reason. They had tickets for him to go with them to the game. So he was like, we got to stop by my abuela's. You're going too. I'll take all you ladies. He's so charming. It's not even surprising.
Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
Anyway, so we might drop in there. I don't know.
We'll see.
Know.
We'll see how that goes.
I think my favorite food, besides sweet potatoes, because it always, come on, sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
My next favorite food, which is not a fan favorite of everybody, is cranberry sauce.
See, I love me some cranberry sauce.
Me too.
I do.
And here's what
but I didn't always.
You know why? I bet because you were introduced to traditional white people cranberry sauce, which is the kind in the jar.
Yeah.
And then they just open both sides, or the can, and they open to both ends.
And it's still
pour
indented.
it out,
Yeah.
and then they slice it like it's fancy because they sliced it on the can line.
Yeah.
That's white people cranberry sauce.
I know, it is. And it is totally inferior.
And it's no wonder it gives the rest of cranberry sauce a bad name.
It does.
And so I make my stepmom, who's white, ironically, and from the North. So I don't understand how she's the one that introduced me to this. She wasn't from the North, but her dad was. But real cranberry sauce. And, it's actual cranberries. And it's
delicious.
Ass load of sugar.
It's so
and
good.
a whole orange.
Oh, yeah.
Peel and everything. Just a whole fucking orange goes into it. I could eat it with a spoon year round.
And everyone I have ever made it for has fallen in love with it. And it's so delicious.
Well, you just need to keep on doing the Lord's work. Win them over one person at a time.
One person at a time. I'm bringing to the cranberry life. That's what my job is. And my dad texted me today, what's the plan for Thanksgiving? And I try to spend every holiday with my dad. Even if I don't spend the whole day, I do try to be present. I'm the kid that shows up.
Good job.
I'm also the one that lives nearby. So understandable. Or is alive. All of the above.
Just winning in all accounts.
And, but my dad has been with his girlfriend now. I think they've been together about 6 years probably.
Oh, nice.
And she's from Ohio. And, bless her heart. I love her. She is a wonderful woman. But the cooking differences between us are night and day. And it's not that she's a bad cook. It's just a different type of cooking than what we do. Mm-hmm. I mean, we like seasoning.
That's a big one right there.
Yeah. My dad, one time, I was in the kitchen, it might have been Thanksgiving. I could be wrong. I was making something. And he saw me do something in the kitchen, and then he went there. He goes, you see what she's doing? Those are spices. So mean. But so I don't remember exactly how she makes her deviled eggs, but I want to say there's no relish and there's no mayonnaise. Maybe it's just mustard.
Oh my God, this is horrible.
I mean, bless her heart.
Oh my God.
And so she was
love deviled eggs.
She was shocked I put relish in mine.
She was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And I was like, girl, what are you doing? What have you... Let's talk about who's doing what. What are you doing?
I don't know what you're making over there, but it's not deviled eggs.
And so we've had to it comes back to the whole new things.
Yeah.
Because my stepmom was my stepmom since I was 1 year old. I was raised in the kitchen with my stepmom. She taught me more about cooking, honestly, than my mom. And because as an adult, I spent more time with my stepmom, and I was with her cooking all the time. And she was an amazing cook. And she taught me how to cook all these amazing foods. And now my dad's like, no, I can't eat that. No tomatoes anymore. No this, no that. And I'm, what the hell? Yeah. And then she's like, no relish in those eggs.
What am I? They're really cutting your hands off.
They're killing me. They're killing me.
Like, how am I supposed to cook for you people?
I know. But he did text me today. I was like, I'm in charge of the sides. Y'all take care of the turkey, okay? I'm bringing all the sides. Y'all take care of the turkey. I got everything else.
Good.
So that's the plan.
It should be good.
Yeah, we'll be good. We'll be fine. Will the turkey be 6 hours late? Yes.
Yeah,
Are we going to tell Dad we're planning to eat at noon? Yes. To what time will we really eat? 5. Because that's what time the turkey will be done that he's in charge of.
Well, so talking about traditions, like what you traditionally do in your family on the holidays. My family, we always get together on... we have a big family Thanksgiving and we have a big family Christmas. Now, they're not always on the day of Thanksgiving or Christmas. Sometimes they're the weekend before or whatever, but sometimes they fall actually on the day. This year, we're doing Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving. But we only do traditional food for one or the other. So if we do traditional Thanksgiving, then we have a different thing for Christmas. But if we're doing traditional Christmas, then Thanksgiving is different. And then in the past, we've done barbecues, or we've done Mexican food, or we've done a potluck style. But this year we're doing seafood boil. So I'm interested
for Thanksgiving or for Christmas?
For Thanksgiving. We're doing a seafood boil for Thanksgiving. So we'll have a traditional Christmas time feast, but we're doing a seafood boil.
Hopefully everybody likes seafood.
Well, that's what I told them. I was like, well, I guess Dante's not coming because he does not eat, unless somebody's frying up some catfish, because that's the only seafood-ish that he does is fried catfish.
2 out of my 4 kids don't eat any kind of seafood. Yeah. And I didn't eat seafood till I was 35. I just didn't try it until I was 35. Yeah. It's weird. But.
I'm sure they'll have other stuff because we have lots of kids that are picky. So I know that there are going to be other things.
Just fry some chicken nuggets. You'll be good. You'll be good.
I was like, babe, we'll just stop and get you something on the way.
I mean,
But he might have to work, actually, so I don't even know if he's going to get to go. So
that is ridiculous.
I know.
For Thanksgiving.
Crane operators, their time never stops.
They're really... There's always a crane emergency somewhere. That's funny. Well, I wanted to do it at my house, but my dad has to be able to watch football
and I don't have TVs. I mean, I have TVs, but they're not hooked up to anything that's going to bring you football. They're hooked up to Xbox. If you want to play some games,
play some football.
we can play some. We don't even have football games.
Oh no!
If he wants to play, like, I don't know. I don't even know what. If you want to play like you're like robbing people, I think we got that covered. That's about it. Thanks, boys. Yeah. So that is what we're doing now. Mary might be coming over. I need to find out what her plans are. I actually have not even looked into that. So Mary might be there. She likes to just she lives by the rule of I'm going to be there, I'm not. Now, last year, she was really good about Christmas because it was the anniversary of my brother passing on Christmas Day. It was the 1 year anniversary. So she was going to be there hella high water. Like, I'm telling you, if I couldn't be there, she was going to show up.
I'm here for Zeta.
I'm here for Zeta. I don't know where she is, but I'm here for her.
I'm her stand-in.
So I assume that we have plans with Mary on Thanksgiving, also with my dad. But you never know. She may go see her mom. We do both. We visit both our parents. It's like we're the married couple. Who are you going to rotate years? Whose parents Mary and I see?
That's so funny.
Well, it's really weird because when I was married to my ex-husband, sometimes I didn't feel like my ex-in-laws embraced me enough. I always thought I expected a closer relationship to my in-laws because my friendship parents I was always really close to. Yeah. So I was always like the favorite friend of the parents, And so I kind of just expected I would have in-laws that loved me. And they did. They loved me. They loved me more after the divorce. Mm-hmm. Once he got wife number 2, they recognized how great wife number 1 was. Yeah. And so our relationship was always pretty good, but it's been better since because they truly love me more now, and they realize it. That's good. But they are not cooks. They don't cook at all. They don't cook. I don't know how else to put this. Literally nothing.
That's so sad.
I mean, nothing. I don't mean they don't cook Thanksgiving. I mean, they don't cook.
They do not cook.
So every holiday, I felt like I had to provide their meal because I wanted them, I loved them, and I wanted them to have a good Thanksgiving and Christmas meal. And so for years, I kind of gave up seeing my family to provide for his family because my family could cook and they could always provide good food. Yeah. And you know how I am about food.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's your love language.
It is. Well, the last few years, I realized I was kind of getting screwed, and so were my parents. So I was making an effort to make sure I saw my parents more on holidays and so on. And, I got a good 15 years I didn't see either parent for a holiday, which is crazy, And so I'd go see Scott's all the time. I was very close to his family. And now I've been with Rick the last 10 years. I have no relationship with his family.
So crazy the different dynamics that you go through there.
Yeah, it is crazy. And so I didn't really have family traditions with my family. I had them with Scott's family. Mm. And now once I removed Scott from the equation, I made them with my family. And I started spending more time with my mom before she died, and then my dad and my stepmom, and developed new, things we did. Mm-hmm. New traditions are a big deal. And when you get a divorce and you have children and you have traditions and then things change and you change traditions, it's really hard on kids. Traditions are important to them.
Yeah, they build stability.
And it could be the littlest, silliest tradition. Mm-hmm. So my big deal with the kids is that we were always broke, okay? For the first 10 years after my divorce, bitch was hungry, okay? I was working my ass off, and I was always broke. 4 kids, 2 in daycare is expensive. And so I couldn't afford a lot for holidays. And I've always not been a big material person anyways. So I don't go overboard for Christmas. I've never been that person. And I've never been that person on holidays. But now we have new traditions. And my tradition with the kids after the divorce was, and we kind of did this before the divorce. It was an unofficial tradition, but it was something I felt like we could carry after the divorce and them not lose, and made it more official. But we all pick a holiday ornament. And you don't even have to be with us. Once the kids moved out and they weren't with us, I was just get an ornament. Mm-hmm. I'll send you the money for your ornament. Just get you an ornament that reflects your year.
Yeah.
It can be anything. It can be anything. We have so many funny things on the tree. And so now my tree is full of a representation of every kid for every year for the last 15 years. So when we got a cat that year, we got cat, or everyone wanted a cat ornament. We got a dog one year. Everyone wanted a dog ornament. When I got a new truck, I got a Ford truck ornament. Like, that's just kind of, what it is. And it's such great memories and it's such great traditions. But then we have other traditions that have changed throughout the years, and we've had to develop new ones. And so I kind of wanted to touch on that because with all these changes, like now I spend my holidays with my best friend and my kids if I have them. Sometimes they might be in front of a plate of food, and sometimes they might be at the front of a stage. It can be anything. The tradition is I'm with my best friend. Mm-hmm. We can do whatever we want to do. So just anyone that's going through a divorce or they've lost somebody for whatever reason, whether it be death or whatever the case is, maybe you're moved away from your family. New traditions, you've got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you do.
And so you can't be like sitting at home during the holidays. This is such a hard time for some people. Mm-hmm. You can't just be sitting at home sad because you can't do the traditions you used to do. It's time to make new traditions.
Yeah, even if it's something small.
Even if it's something small.
Got to start somewhere.
Or make good memories.
Yeah.
So I've told this story before. I think I told it last year on this podcast, not even on the Without, but for Christmas, when my stepmom was dying, like literally she died a few weeks later. But when she was dying and she was too sick to participate in Christmas, and she was basically in hospice and wasn't at home. And so my dad was obviously going to spend Christmas Day with her. The kids and I didn't know what to do. Like I had the kids for Christmas. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm unprepared for this. What are we going to do? So took the kids to a Chinese restaurant in Chinatown in Richardson, Texas, where I was the only person that spoke English, and the whole menu was not in English. And it was a great memory. Food, not so great. Memory, amazing.
Yeah, see?
And so if you can't make a new tradition, make a memory. And the holidays are hard. We're about to start. This is week 1 of difficult times for some people.
It very, very much is.
Yeah. So, I don't know, new
So
traditions.
what do we have to be thankful for this year, Zeta? So I was thinking about like what people are usually thankful for. And usually high up on the list is your family. Your family and your friends, your loved ones, definitely. And that is my highest ranking as well, because there's many things that I'm thankful for, but even if I had everything, I wouldn't have the joy and the happiness and the love if I didn't have my family and my friends and the people that I love. So definitely on the top of my list. Would that be on the top of yours? Or?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And health. Health, too.
Yeah. So, and then the next one on my list would be my freedom. I know that the United States is far from perfect, and I understand that. And there's lots that you can get lost in negative-wise. But I try to remind myself to be very thankful for the people and the men and women who have given me the freedoms that I have, because I wouldn't be able to make simple choices as what I want to do for work, if I ever want to get married, if I want to have kids and how many kids I can have, and how I want to dress and how I want to speak. Like those basic freedoms that I have, not everybody has.
Right.
So regardless of how you feel about the way that the world is right now or the way the United States is right now, I know that there's much to be improved, but I don't ever lose sight of where we are and how we got here. And I'm very, very thankful for the freedoms and the privileges that I have because of the path that was paved by other people. So that's another one that's very top on my list.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
What else you got?
So my next one is the time that I've been given on this earth, because I view my life as very much a gift. Some people can, again, get caught up in the negative aspects of life to where they don't view it as a gift. They view it as a sentencing. Yeah. And I understand that because there's lots of horrible things in this world, and there's lots of horrible situations that people have had to deal with and live through. And so I can understand how you might not always feel like this life is a gift, but I try to always remind myself that I have been given this time. And so I try to make the best of it. I try to give back as much as I can. And I try to remind myself that even though I've had difficulties happen in my life, that's one of the reasons I do the work that I do, and I work with kids, because if I can help them through something that I've gone through or something similar, if I can give them hope, if I can give them like a little bit different spin on things or a different way to look at as they're growing up in the world, I feel like I have won a little bit, and it helps me to still view my life as something that has purpose and meaning and that I can make a difference. So my time, every time that I wake up, and I'm still here, I consider that a blessing, and it's something I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, all good. Okay. I feel like you're just somewhere more in tune with yourself than me. Well, I'm like over here thinking, what am I thankful for? My children and my health. Sometimes I'm not even thankful for those kids. No, I'm just kidding.
That's up and down, I guess.
You know what? I am thankful for my mental health.
That's a big one.
I really, as I get older, I realize how lucky I am. That is just not a luxury afforded to everybody.
It's not.
And it's some people, it has nothing to do with even what you've gone through. It's
just your makeup.
It's just your makeup.
Yeah.
So I'm really thankful for my mental health. I really think I was given a blessing. I'd take my mental health over being perfectly fit, best body ever.
Right.
I'd rather have my mental health that I have than that. And I would really love that. That'd be awesome. Yeah. If I could have my body when I was like 18.
Right.
But I can't. I wouldn't know what to do with it if I did. Right. But I'd take my mental health any day.
Yeah.
And I think that. And then I think the other one would be the fact that it's nice to be comfortable financially.
Yes, that's a big thankful for.
Yeah. I mean, I've lived years of really, I'd like to say my divorce was the problem, but it wasn't. It was just one more casualty of it. But I mean, throughout my marriage, I never was financially stable. He was not a financially stable human being. And then I got divorced, and I had to deal with one income and 4 kids, and that was difficult. But it got better, and it got better, and it got better. And over the years, it's just gotten better and better to the point now that it's really nice not to worry about, can you afford groceries?
Yeah.
Can you afford to fill up your tank?
Yeah. When you don't have that weight on you, it is very freeing.
Yeah. I mean, money cannot buy you happiness, but it's going to help.
Yeah. It can help with a little peace of mind.
Well, I mean, just the stress. I mean, if you're a mom trying to feed your kids, there's nothing worse than not knowing how you're going to do it. Mm-hmm. There's just nothing worse than not knowing how you're going to feed your kids, other than maybe where you're going to sleep tonight. That might trump it.
Yeah,
but
true.
I mean, that's rough stuff, and it happened to so many women. And I mean, I always was able to keep a roof over our head and always be able to feed us. But I mean, when I say the hustle was real, I mean, the hustle was real. Your girl was working 20 hours a day and not even on drugs. Like, most people I know that do that are on drugs. They're on speed and shit. I was like just raw dogging life. It was horrible.
Sounds like
Don't recommend. 2 out of 10, maybe 1. Don't do it.
I'm sorry. Okay, so
y'all are welcome for that little piece of my life.
We're gonna go to on a lighter note. So these are things that are not top of the listers, but there's still things that, when it comes down to it, I am very thankful that I have. And so that would be basic amenities for me, obviously. Being able to have a house that has power, that I can turn on a light, that I have running water.
That's awesome.
That I have a heater,
toilets,
and a dryer, and a washer, and a washing machine, and the things that make life a hell of a lot easier. And I'm glad that when I was younger, I remember a time before we had a dishwasher, and me and my siblings took turns being the dishwasher.
Zoe said tonight, I wish we had a dishwasher. I was like, we do. It's right there. She goes, then why are we all, like she had not, why are we always hand washing everything? I was like, because I do a better job than the dishwasher. Literally, it's right next to the sink. I don't know how she's never noticed it. But she hadn't.
That's so funny.
It is.
So along with that would be hot showers. I love the ability to have heat when it comes to water, and the ability to have first world problems. Okay, I'm just thankful.
Yeah.
I always have a host of those first.
I will
world
tell
problems.
you, last weekend weekend before last for the girls' weekend, Erica said, "Hey, do I need to bring towels? Do we have shampoo, conditioner?" And she's never really asked me for those things. I was like, "Yeah, we got everything here." Okay, good, because I need a hot shower bad. Like, all right, all right. She gets there. I'm taking a shower. Like right when she gets there, I'm taking a shower. Okay, why? Oh, I haven't had hot water in a month.
My gosh, that sucks.
They had something happen and it requires like a permit and all this extra stuff. And like, it's about to be fixed, but it took a lot of work to get to that point. That was like a major ordeal. And like they'd have work done on the house.
Yeah.
And girl has been going, she's a hairdresser. So she's been going to work every day and washing her hair at work and taking cold showers.
Man, that's what I'm telling you, man.
You've been taking whore baths for a month?
First world problem.
Bless your heart, Erica.
I'm very thankful that I'm able to have first world problems because, I mean,
when you said that, when you were like, what's, something small but important to you, whatever, I have a really fast phone charger right now.
Oh, yes.
It's like the really fast ones.
I love the lightning chargers, man.
Yeah, this one's like faster than I've ever had.
I love it.
Like I'm at full percentage in like 20 minutes.
It's wonderful.
I'm really thankful for that.
Thank God.
Thank you, baby Jesus.
For that lightning fast charger.
Really appreciate it. Yeah. So that was the first thing that popped in my head. The second thing that popped in my head was electric blankets.
Ooh, oh my gosh, definitely. That's heating pads as well.
Yeah, and Epsom salt.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. Those are my thankful things besides your basics of health and I'm alive. I don't have cancer.
Yeah,
all those good things. Lightning fast
charger.
Listen, just the small things.
I know you can't forget about the small things. No, okay, they're important. You got to count your blessings when you get them.
That's what I'm saying. I will say I want to put a little challenge out for people, kind of having to do with Thanksgiving, but not holidays. Christmas party, which you will most likely be my date to in December to Al's Christmas party.
Say less.
Exactly. Now Ray didn't want to go to that, so you'll just be my date. I'm just telling you right now, you're my date. Anyway, so White Elephant.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
So I would like listeners to message me.
And me.
And her. White Elephant
What should
ideas.
we get for White Elephant? Come on.
I will tell you, last year I left with a beautiful Black Santa, which I traded for because I was
very jealous of that Black Santa.
It was pretty amazing.
I wanted that Black Santa, but I was very happy with my gifts too.
Yeah, what did you get?
I got the fur.
Oh yes,
what do you call it? Yeah, it's a fur scarf, multicolored, beautiful.
Yes,
absolutely love. And then I had taken. Well, I got that because Terry. I was Terry's date. I was Terry's date too. Who was I?
We were both Terry's date.
Yeah, that's what
it wasn't like Terry's going alone anyway.
No. So we played together. And he got that and gave it to me. And then I had taken a hourglass, a really pretty hourglass that you could flip, and I really loved it. And so I stole it from somebody so that I could get it. And I ended up with that, and then I got that scarf as well. So. Woo woo.
We need good creative ideas. This is for Al and Amy's Christmas party. Last year, Kelly Raspberry wasn't very happy. Wasn't it last year?
Yes.
Because somebody stole her gift, which was it like a $50 Nordstrom card?
Yeah, something like that.
She was not happy someone stole that. But that's really kind of the point of the game.
Yeah, I mean, don't bring an awesome gift and then think that it's not going to get stolen.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
And that's another thing that gets to me is when people actually get mad.
She
about
was
White Elephant.
legit a little bit upset.
That's the point. That's the point.
Yeah, and every year I bring what I think is a really good gift, and it never gets any excitement. I'm like, I thought these were good.
Right.
Like one year I got the cards that you put on people's cars when they park bad. Mm-hmm. It's like...
those are great.
Yeah, they were not excited. Like they didn't even get it.
Who cares?
I don't remember.
That's why I usually get something that I would want. Because if we're in the game and I'm not seeing anybody getting anything that
you'll get what you want.
I always go and get my present because I'm like, at least I know I'm going to want this.
So the liquor is always popular. Yeah. Liquor is always a big one.
Oh yeah. But I don't always, a lot of times people tend to do that and some people don't drink. So I like to make sure that I usually get something that I want. That way I can always leave with it. But it tends to try to get stolen because,
Well, and a few years ago, I don't think it was the year you went. I think it was the year that Rick went with me. And Paul, that is one of Al's regulars up here at the bar, Paul and Melissa, they brought a book and it was like 50 ways to like handle your cock. I don't remember if that's the exact word.
Oh my goodness.
But it's a chicken recipe book.
I was like, what? Where are we going? Yeah. Where are we going with this?
It's legit a chicken recipe book. And Amy's parents got it. So her mom, to be specific. It was really funny. It was the hit of the night. Oh, man. And I want to be the hit of the night. And so far I'm all duds. Oh. I'm not smart enough to come up with the cock book.
It's okay. I believe in ourselves this year.
I thought about, off the record, no one tell Al. I thought about doing a calendar of Al. Because everyone's there for Al's party.
Photoshop him with Blake Shelton in a couple pictures.
Like, all right.
We got where
we're going. We got this going. This is going in the right direction. Okay. Mm-hmm. Or what if in every picture it was everyone he knew but him in a picture with Blake Shelton?
Yeah, make him jealous.
Yes. What if we stole one of his cardboard cutouts and took pictures of him all over Waxahachie acting like he's at other bars? Like we took him in other bars and took pictures as if he's having a drink with us. Okay, I see. I like where I'm going with this. I like where I'm going with this. We'll see what happens. Right. We're going to play with this idea. Will I do it? Probably not. No, probably not. But it was a good idea.
We're a bunch of talkers.
If I did, I'd win.
Right?
No competition.
Somebody get it and then just hang it up in the bar.
Yeah. Right under Tess and Shelley's clock. That's too funny. All right. Well, I guess that's what. Anything else on the Thanksgiving that we need to discuss?
I just hope that everybody has a good one.
I do too. And when your family's driving you nuts and you're ready to gouge their eyes out, just remember they'll be dead in a few years and it's going to be okay. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Really embrace your time with your family.
To go take a quote unquote walk,
Yeah, go be that cousin. Go walk with the other cousin.
Read the room and who needs to.
Those are my favorite cousins.
Who needs to go along with you or who's going on that walk?
Who wants to go on a walk?
Who wants to go on a walk? Anybody else?
I love that every family has cousins and the cool aunt going on the walk. In my family, it's a whole damn family.
You turn around,
who's staying home to watch the kids.
You're the only one left in the room. You're like, what the heck?
Damn it. I'm the one they don't like, apparently. I'm the only one not invited.
Yeah, that's never the case with me. Sorry.
No. Okay.
All right, guys, we love you.
All right, y'all. So enjoy your Thanksgiving. Don't kill anyone. And try some real cranberry sauce.
Yeah. Moral of the story.
Yeah. Moral of the story. I'll try to post it if I remember. No promises. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us. Maybe come back next week and bring a friend.
Yeah. And remember, there's always 3 sides to every story.
2 sides and the truth.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. I'm coming home.